scatter diagrams is what we're looking at in this video. So the way my videos work, I'm going to do the example on the left, which is I do. You are then going to press pause and have a go at the example on the right, which is you do. So these are the type of questions that we're going to look at. So before we go into this, we're going to first start off by looking at describing relationships. So we can have different types of relationships with graphs. So this one here has a positive relationship. So that is a positive relationship. So they both increase together. So as the age of the baby increases, the rate goes up. Now here, this is a negative correlation because as the hours of sunshine goes down, the rainfall goes up. And one way you can remember this is you can just put two lines here and you get your n, and n is negative. Okay, so that is your negative correlation. The word correlation here is key. You want to write that to get the mark. And finally, with this one, there's no link between hours on sunshine and test score. So there's no correlation here at all. So the data is just all over the place. So here, the answer would be, well, the relationship here is that we have no correlation. So this one is positive, this one is negative, and that one has no correlation. And finally, the other thing we want to look at is outliers. Now, outlier is a point that lies outside the range of data. So you can see this point here is an outlier because it lies far away from all the other points. So in this graph here, the outlier would be that point there. So coming back to this now, the first question here asks us to write down the coordinates of the outlier. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So the coordinates of the outlier, well, there's the outlier. That's the first thing you want to do, identify it. So the coordinates of that would be along the corridor up the stairs. So that's my coordinates for the outlier. Now it says, ignoring the outlier, describe the relationship between the rate and the age. So we can ignore this and we can see that it's going up like this. So since it's going up in that direction, it is a positive correlation. Now the word correlation here is key. You want to make sure you're writing that word down too. Now it says, another baby has a weight of 5 kg. Use the graph to estimate his age. Now to do this, to estimate from a scatter diagram, you have to draw a line of best fit. Again, to draw the line of best fit, you ignore the outlier. And the line of best fit is basically a line that goes through all these points. So it's something like this, and it has roughly the same number of points above and below it. So that's my line of best fit there. You draw that with a ruler, and then it says another baby has a weight of 5 kg. Use the graph to estimate his weight. So then you go up here, here's 5 kg, and then you read across, and then read down. So my answer is going to be roughly 5.5. Now I'm going to do this properly. So the way you're going to do it is you're going to get a ruler. You're going to draw a line that crosses through the middle of most of the points. So it has roughly the same number of points above and below the line. And if I put that in, and the answer will have a range. So there's my line of best fit. Get rid of the ruler. I'm now going to come here, 5 kg, go across, and then come down. Awesome. So my answer here is roughly 5.8, but the mark scheme will allow anything from 5 to 6. So the actual answer here I would put would be 5.8 months. But like I said, the mark scheme would allow anything in 5 to 6. So it says, Ben says the diagram shows that a 12-month baby will have a weight of 12 kg. So he's saying a 12-month baby will have a weight of 12 kg according to this. Now, comment on this statement. Now, when you ask to comment on statements, it's important to know that with scatter diagrams, the range of data is from here to here. That's the data we have. We cannot use this to go beyond or below, okay? Because this trend may not continue. As you grow, your weight doesn't always go up. So when you're 50, doesn't mean you're going to be 50 kg, or when you're 100, you're not going to be 100 kg. The graph might not continue straight on. So the comment I'm looking for here is that we don't actually have any data for 12 kg, for 12-month baby, sorry. There's no data here. There's nothing here that we have to use that. So we're going to write down that there is no data for a 12-month baby. The point would be outside the range. Of the scatter diagram. So that's a comment on it. We just don't have any data to make that estimation because this trend may not continue. It might start to level off. So if I zoom out, you can now press pause and have a go at the example on the right. So with the outlier, the coordinates are 9 and 9,000. Ignoring the outlier, describe the relationship. So that is going to be a negative correlation. Another car is 4 years old. Use the graph to estimate its value. So we're going to draw a line of best fit. Now you do get marks for drawing this, so it's important that you do draw this line. So there's my line. It's also worth mentioning that I have linked the slides to this in the comments below, so you can print them off. So there's my line of best fit. Now it's saying a 4-year-old car. And we're still there if I just zoom in. So I'd say that's about 6,200. And again, the mark scheme will have a range. So the mark scheme will probably accept anything from 5,800 all the way to like 6,400. So as long as your answer's in that range, you'll be fine. And then it says, Ben says the scatter diagram shows a 10-year-old car will have a value of 0. Now, this is an excellent example. Just because a car is 10 years old doesn't mean the value will be 0. We don't want to use this to predict that because we don't have any data there. The data we have stops here. That stops at about 7.5 years. So we can't use this to estimate that. So the answer here will be the same as this. There is no data for a 10-year-old car. The point would be outside the range of the scatter diagram. Okay, so that's what we're writing. It's unreliable to go beyond in either direction of the scatter diagram. So it's the exact same answer. Instead of writing 12-month baby, we're just going to write 4-year-old car. There's no data for a 10-year-old car, and that would be outside the range. So here's some practice questions. Press pause and have a go. Here are the answers. Mark your work. Now, if you would like some more practice on this, I've got a full worksheet linked down in the comments below. And if you found this video useful, I've got loads of other content like this. Do check it out.